AI, okay. Yeah. So I'm talking about full length test series. So please try to give that test. Okay. And today we have released the mock 2 also. So in that you can find a good amount of AI questions, like questions from AI, difficult from previous mocks. So try to attempt that because we have covered that in detail. So try to focus more on that. You can unmute and speak. Yeah, don't worry. You have to speak in English or you can speak in Hindi also, not an issue. I used to join. Shamashri Das, are you IITM BS student? Okay. Yes, Rahul. You can
So
unmute.
I want to
Uh.
ask you that what you will thought that how the level of question will be there in upcoming GATE exam.
No, see, they have all the branch for GATE DA paper, right? Mechanical, even they all now they have released for civil also, right? First paper they can attempt. So not expecting much higher difficulty level, especially from AI, machine learning, DBMS, PDSA type of uh, topics, right? And only 3 months are there to prepare. So
Mechanical,
paper,
even they all now they
Sagar, yes. So paper will be easy to moderate only. This is the first time they are taking conducting the exam, and yeah, paper will be moderate only, not difficult. Even if you see a sample paper, they have just copy pasted from a previous CSV paper. So that type of paper will also not come. So expecting, but good amount of question can be there from linear algebra, calculus, and probability statistics part.
Well, actually, there is an exam called UGC NET in which artificial intelligence is one of the subject, and I go through
Uh,
all the previous year questions of that, and I thought that it is not that too much difficult if that type of questions will gonna come in GATE exam.
no, that is one liner question, right? Simple MCQ, MSQ question, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So no, that type of question may come for 1 mark, but no. If you see the question like numerical, what you have discussed, a similar question are there in the gate sample paper. So yeah, you can take that.
Hello, sir.
Yes,
Uh,
Yogesh.
Sir, related to GATE exam, like any idea about number of seats or ranks we should think of or marks we should think before attempting? Like,
No. Like it's the first time no one knows what will the good mark, right?
yes, sir, but
So
mainly from comparative to CS, like in CS, we can think of like 55 to 60 marks are good to get into IIT. So, number of seats available in the IIT, like for DSAI, after selecting for DSAI.
yeah, so like I can say rank because marks we cannot we can't predict, but yeah, so good to have a
Yes, sir.
rank under 100 or 200 because seats are very limited for GATE DA exam. So good to
Okay.
have a rank less than 200 because most of the applied for a DA paper there are also CS student, right?
Yes, sir.
So if you see the numbers, like one third of CS, like number of applicants for CS student, sorry. So number of student applied for GATE DA exam is one third of CS student, right?
Yes, sir.
So very less student have applied for a GATE DA, so it's a good opportunity first time.
So means like if we had get like about around 1,000 to 1,200 rank in CS, we could have got into back IITs or NITs. But in DS paper, we should be thinking of under 200 rank to get into IIT.
For IIT, because very few seats are there. Yeah. For NIT, yeah, you can say for 500, but yeah, for IIT 200 is
Actually, sir, I am third year of my engineering, and actually I was preparing for computer science from the starting of second year. But I
Hmm.
thought that it was a good opportunity to give DA exam, so I switched from CS to DA, and I'm
No, no,
continually
you are
working
in
on it.
third year, so try to focus on GATE DA paper only. Less competitions are there. If you see CS paper, like three times more students are there in CS paper, like for GATE, and they are preparing from last 1 or 2 years, right? So it will be
Yes, sir.
difficult to score good rank in CS paper. But DA paper, like all of us on the same page, so yeah, can definitely prepare for because you are in third year, so yeah, you have a very good chance. And this GATE score is valid for 3 years because I have given
Yes,
GATE
sir.
exam three times, third year, fourth year, and then after fourth year also.
Nice, sir.
Okay, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think we can start. Yeah. Okay, so let me share my screen. I think we are live on YouTube. Let me check. Yes. Okay. So let me share my screen. And if you have any difficulty, you can directly unmute and ask anytime. Okay. So this is how I conduct the session. I also expect the same thing. Like you can directly speak up. Okay. Okay. So is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay. So like if you observe our previous CSC branch paper, right? In that, most of the questions are from a select query, right? So they will give select query, and you need to find out the output of a select query or number of tuples they have written, right? So this type of questions you can expect in CS exam and DA exam also. And in that, they have focused on like aggregate functions, okay, aggregate, then group by clause, right? Group by similarly having. Then few questions are based on all, any, in, not in, right? This type of questions and joins also very important, joins, right? So aggregate function group by clause having all, any, in. So simple query they have asked in the CS paper also, but yeah. So similar questions you can expect in GATE DA or paper also, right? Specifically focus on aggregate and group by and having clause, okay? Because for a data science point of view, these aggregate functions are very important. So try to focus on, we'll try to focus on this, and joins is also, right. So we need to use joins to have a to write a query, right? So let's start the session. Like we are going to focus in this session, like we are going to start from how to create a table, creating a table, because there is special topic like data types and constraint, right? So we'll discuss data types and constraint, how to create a table. In that, after that, we are going to see simple select query, like select star from type of query. Then we are going to discuss about joins, okay? And then we are going to discuss about this aggregate function, aggregate and group by all those things, okay? So we are discussing this SQL. We are learning this SQL to interact with the relational database management system. Right? It's RDBMS, right? So what is this relational database management system, right? So we have this. Hello. Yes. Any doubt? Anyone?
No, sir.
Sir,
Okay.
I have a doubt on uh, sir how to apply relational algebra in SQL, sir. Sometimes I didn't recognize SQL query, and after that query turned into relational algebra.
Hmm.
So that I have confusing, sir. Lot of.
No, no. See, okay. I will discuss that afterward. But first, we are discussing the SQL part. So in relational algebra, for GATE exam point of view, they may ask you a simple table, relational algebra query, or you should be able to convert this into SQL form, right? Equivalent form of SQL, right? So in this, you are facing difficulty, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. We'll discuss that, but let me cover this SQL first. So we are dealing with relational database management system. So how we store a data in the RDBMS? So we have a different tables, right? Say column 1, column 2, column 3. So different tables are there, right? We are storing a data in different tables, okay? And there is some relation between them, right? So suppose C1, A1, B1. So these are the column name, okay? So this is one of the key, and this key is taking reference to this particular C1. So we have a concept of primary key, and we have concept of foreign key. Okay. So you can expect 1 mark question based on difference between foreign key and primary key. Okay. So in RDBMS, like we store a data in a tabular format, and those tables or we can say relations are linked to each other by a referential integrity maintained by a foreign key, right? So because in order to join the table, so what is join here? Suppose I have table, I have a relation R. We are decomposing it to a two table, okay, R1 and R2. So if I join this relation, both R relation back by say for example natural join, then I should get original relation back. Okay. So this is a concept of database designing process, but we are not going into that. But as of now, just understood that okay, in relation database we store data in tabular format, like we have a columns and we have a rows in this way, right? And the relations are linked to each other by some foreign key constraint. Okay. So how to create those table? What is foreign key and primary key? And that we can discuss now. Okay. Any doubt? So like we have different database management system here. So, but we are for this particular session, I am going to use PostgreSQL because the interface is easy to use. Okay, so is the screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so like for example, I need to create a table student. Okay, so in that the columns will be. So I'm just writing a schema here. So this is how we represent the schema. Okay, if in exam, if schema is like this. So please remember whatever the name is present before the bracket, that is basically relation name or a table name, and in that bracket we are mentioning the attribute or a column name. For example, roll number, then we have name, then we have department, then we have age. Only four columns are there. And in exam you can also see we have underlined one of the attribute, and that underlined attribute is called as the primary key. Okay, so this is a different notation how to represent a relation. So this is a table name and these are the columns, right? And in schema, we generally represent primary key by using the underline. Okay. So how to create a table student having four columns? So that we can discuss now. So syntax for creating a table. I hope this font is visible, right? This one. Can anyone
Yes, sir.
confirm? Okay,
Yes, sir.
fine. So how we can create a table first? So create. So you have to write a spelling create table. So this is a syntax for creating a table. Then you have to specify a table name. So which table you name, which table you want to create. So that is basically a student, right? It is student, right? Then you have to put the column names, right? Create table student. Then in bracket you have to mention the column name, right? So the various column will have its own data types and a constraint, right? So if you see, this is our create, then table name, whatever the name you want to create. And then in that we have this column name. So column 1, then we have data type, and then we have constraint, right? So we have a topic in syllabus specifically mentioned data types and constraint, right? So what is data type and what is constraint? Can anyone tell me? Hello?
Column data type like attributes, different attributes.
Yeah. Okay. So data type will ensure what type of data I can insert in this particular column, and constraint will ensure okay what type of type, not like what kind of data we can insert, right? So in that particular column, so we have different types of data types. So data types, first we can discuss data types. So first thing we have varchar, that is variable character. Then we have integer data type. Then we have date data type, right? Then we have char. So it depends on the database system which we are using. So we can discuss varchar, integer, date. Then we have numeric data type, numeric, and then we have a boolean. Okay. So these are few important data types in the SQL. So what is varchar? So varchar is used to store string values, right? String values. Integer, as we all know. So integer value, right? Integer. Date is a date format like our DD, MM, YYY. So also we can store YYY, MM, DD format. So it depends on the database, but this is a general form for a date data type. And char will also store the string values. Okay. Also store the string values. We can see numeric means uh, having a float, that is having a decimal values. We can say decimal values. And boolean is either true or false, right? This type of true or false. This is a type of data it can store. So this is about the data types, right? And we have a fixed size also here. So we represent like this, okay? N. So what is this N? We'll discuss that. But these are the few different data types, okay? Then what types of constraints? So constraints are very important. They can ask you simple question based on the constraint. On data type, they may not, like simple question may not be possible without creating a table, but on constraint, they can ask you the question, right? So what are different types of constraint? Yes, anyone tell me? We already covered this in our SQL course.
There is unique primary key, foreign key,
Yes.
not null.
So we have a not null constraint, then we have unique constraint, then we have uh, primary key, then we have foreign key, right? Foreign key constraint, and we have check constraint. Okay. So not null, any we are missing any type of constraint, not null, unique, check, primary key, foreign key, right? Yeah. So these are the few important types of constraint in SQL. So what is not null? As name indicates, it will not allow us to insert a null value, right? So it will not allow us, will not allow to insert null values. Null value means simply that value does not exist. Null does not mean any zero or any empty cell. Null means simply it does not exist. Okay. We cannot compare this null value with any other value. Okay. Because this is not a value. This is simply does not exist. Okay. So we cannot compare null value with any other. We can only check whether the field is null or not. Okay. Now what is unique? It will ensure. So it will ensure that column will have unique value only, right? Unique values. Unique means there is no repetition of any column. So we'll discuss this, no repetition, okay? What is primary key? Tell me primary key,
Which refers a particular table.
which requires particular table? No.
Unique plus not null. The attribute
Unique?
which is plus
Huh.
not null.
Yes, yes. So primary key is used to, it is used to identify, identify each and every row in a relation, each and every row in a relation, okay, in a table we can say, or in a relation. So whenever I will say relation table, both are the same thing, okay? And this primary key constraint have not null plus unique constraint. So question can be framed based on this not null plus unique constraint, okay? So please remember this point, not null plus unique constraint. Now what about a foreign key? Yes, anyone tell me?
So it helps to create a link between two tables.
Huh. Okay. So it is used to create link, or yeah, we can say create link. Yeah. So it maintains the referential integrity. We can say it maintains the referential integrity. Whenever you listen this term referential integrity, so something has to do with the foreign key. Okay, so please remember this point. Integrity. It maintains the referential integrity. So we'll discuss this. And check constraint will simply, if we allow check constraint, for example, age. So if I say check age greater than 18. So if I put a constraint of age greater than 18 on age column, so it will not allow us to insert a record which is not satisfying this particular condition, right? So ensure it will ensure that data should satisfy some condition, satisfy some condition. Okay, so it condition can be anything: age greater than 18, or date of birth should be greater than 1st January 2002, right? Any condition can be there based on the date, based on the column name. But check constraint will only allows the insert of data when this particular condition is true. Okay, so any doubt in the constraint part or in data type part? Anyone? Which refers PK extract from primary key, that is not the actual correct definition of a foreign key. Okay, so in the like internet you must have seen, okay, foreign key referencing to a primary key of other table. That is not actually correct, but that is one of the way like we can have mostly it is a general way to have a primary key as a foreign key from a different table. But in order to have the foreign key, there is one thing that that particular attribute. So that particular attribute for which we are taking reference, particular attribute or a column name, it can be a primary key, or it should have a unique constraint. So please remember this point. It's not necessary that it should be a primary key only, but if any other attribute having unique constraint also, then also we can make that particular attribute as a foreign key. Okay. So this is about the check constraint and this is about the foreign key constraint. Okay. Okay. So I hope the constraint and data type is clear to everyone. So mostly the question can be framed based on like theoretical question can be framed based on primary key and foreign key from the constraint. And this type of constraint and data types question can be framed by using the create table query. Okay, because directly forming the question is very difficult, but yeah, this type of this explanation is enough to solve the question. Okay, so please remember, whenever we are discussing about referential integrity or connection with referencing to any other table, so foreign key will come. But when we are discussing about identifying each row in every relation, so that is basically a primary key. Okay, and a table can have only one primary key, and table can have only one primary key. Okay, so it can be it can be composite key or simple key also. So this is about constraint and data types. Okay, now yes, anyone, any doubt? Okay. So let's try to use this all the constraint and all the data type that we have discussed in creation of a table, right? So roll number, name, department, age, we have this four column, and I am making this roll number having a data type varchar. Okay, varchar, and the size is 5. Okay, and the constraint is primary key. So this is how we can make any attribute as a primary key. So there are two ways to mention two ways to mention any attribute as a primary key. So this is the one of the way. You can just mention the roll number, your column name, then your data type, and then your constraint. That is primary key. Okay, so for name we can have char data type. Okay, char data type 5. So 5 will discuss what is this size, what is the data type. Then we have integer we can discuss, then numeric. Yeah, numeric we'll discuss. Numeric is important. So department H, then we'll discuss about grades. Okay. So name I will maintain it as unique, and department varchar. So it's not necessary that every column should have the data types or a constraint. Sorry, a constraint. Every column should have a data type, but constraint is not necessary. So it is not necessary. Okay, but data type is necessary. So here, if I keep department varchar only constraint, sorry, a data type, that is also fine. Okay, age having int, that is integer value, and grades is basically numeric. Okay, so numeric grades, let's say salary. Okay. Salary will be a good example. So numeric, I am mentioning it as 5, 2. So what is this 5? What is this 2? We can discuss. But we are creating a table student, and that column will be my roll number, name, department name, age, and salary. So there are 5 columns in the student table, and these are the data types, and these are the constraint. Okay, so constraint not null, unique. Okay, so department must be not null. So we have used unique, not null, then primary key. Foreign key we cannot have because we need one more table because it is referring to another table, right? So this is how we have used constraint. And one more is that check constraint, right? So how to use check constraint? So check, let me write it down here. That is check constraint, right? So check whether age is greater than 18 or not, right? So that's it. So if I just select this particular query and just click on the run button, so here you can see table has been created. Now we have created a table. How to view the table? How to view a data from a particular table? For that we have a query that is select star from. Is a simple syntax. Select query, then star means whatever the attribute you want to view, or star means it will give us all the column name. From then you have to specify the table name, from which table you want to view the data, right? So that is basically a student, right? So if I run this particular query, what I will get? So only a structure has been created as of now. Okay. So roll number, name, department name, salary, right? So we have created table, and this is how this table will look like. We have not inserted a record in a particular table. Okay. So we'll discuss that also. So up till now, anyone, any doubt? Check is not similar to a where clause. Where is a clause, check is a constraint. Okay. So we can use this check inside while creating a table only. Where clause we use inside the select query. Okay. So both are different things. Okay, great. So we have created a table student, and select star from a student is uh, we can see a data, right? Now how to insert a record in a student table, right? So for that we have insert statement. Insert into, then we have to specify the table name, or don't go to the spelling, but table name. Then we have to specify the attributes, or you can say column name, on which column you want to insert a data. So this is optional. Okay, if you are not specifying the column, so it means you are inserting a record in all, you are inserting a data in all the columns. Okay, but if you want to insert the data in specific columns, so you have to mention the column name. So we'll discuss that also. So this is a syntax for inserting a record. Insert into, then which table I want to insert data, that is you have to specify a table name, then what are their corresponding values, right? So insert into, so here you can see it is in violet color, so blue color, right? So it is a keyword, right? So insert into, then the table name we have to specify, then values, then what are the values? So that's we have to mention in the open bracket. Okay. So now let's try to insert one record. So insert into, our table name is student, right? Student. And I want to insert a record in all the columns. I will not specify any column name. So I will directly mention values. And then now I want to specify the roll number, right? So let's say roll number is basically, and please remember this, these are the varchar. So it will take a string value. So for string values, we have to use single quotation. Okay. And for integer, we don't need to use a single quotation. So we have to enter a data for a string or date data type in a single quotation. Okay. So for example, roll number is EME21, then comma, and my name is, for example, Raj. Then we have department, right? So department will be say mechanical, make. Then we have age for example 22, and then we have a salary, for example 98.00. Okay, so just I will just run this particular query, and here you can see we have successfully inserted a record. Now let's see a table again, because select star from student is used to see a data from a particular table, right? So if I just click on run commands, here you can see I have successfully inserted a record in a particular table, right? Now let's try to discuss constraint one by one. Okay. So first thing is that what is primary key? So primary key will have unique plus not null constraint. Okay. Now if I want to insert a same data again, so suppose I am trying to insert a record. Now let's see what it will throw an error or not. So see, we are getting an error that duplicate key violates the unique constraint, that is student p key, that is primary key. So we cannot insert a record having a student having a same roll number, okay? Because roll number is unique for each student. That's why we make it as a primary key. So here I cannot insert a one more data of a student having same roll number, right? So if I just change this roll number ME to CS, then in that case we'll see what error we'll get now, or successfully inserted or not. So again we are getting an error. But what error? So this time duplicate key values violate unique constraint. Now if you remember, our name is having unique constraints. So it will ensure that I cannot have a student name same, right? So it name should be unique because we already inserted a name Raj, right? So it will throw an error. So we cannot insert a record. So I cannot insert one more Raj. So I will insert Ravi. Okay. Now let's see if I, okay, what happened? Yeah. Now let's try to, hmm, now let's try to insert this record. Okay. Now successfully inserted, right? So here you can see. Now we are successfully inserted. So this is how this primary key and unique will work, because it will not allow us to insert a record having a duplicate value or a null values. Okay. So this is a constraint that we are going to apply on each column, right? What about department? So not null, so it will not allow us to insert a record without a department name. So age is integer. Okay. So this is about primary key, unique and not null constraint. So what about check constraint? Okay. So let's try to discuss that. I will change Ravi to Ram now. Department say DPMS, not DPMS, CS, and age say for example 17. Now this age is less than 18. Now let's try to see what we are getting an error. So what error we will get? If you see, we will get an error, the student violation check constraint. So check constraint is violated because age should be greater than 18, right? So we are not allowed to insert a record which is not satisfying this check condition, right? So the question can be framed based on this. They will give a simple create table and they will give some insert a statement and see which of the following statement is inserted successfully or which will throw an error. So you have to keep a note on this particular check constraint, this type of constraint data type we have. Okay. So this is about the constraint. Any doubt in the constraint part? We'll discuss the data type. Primary key, unique and not null. Okay. Now let's try to discuss about the data type. Okay. So where can this can it will both will take the string values, but what is the difference, right? But first we'll discuss about what is this 5. Okay. So here you can see CS21 having 4 characters only. Its length is 4 only, right? So, but if I try to insert CS21200, right? Let us change this 18 to 27. Now let's see what error we'll get. So value too long for type character varying 5. So this roll number will only take up to 5 characters. This will only take up to 5 characters. So name can be only 5 characters long. I cannot insert a record of a student having roll number more than 5 character or a name having 5 character. Okay. For example, is 5 character and say Ramesh is 6, right? So I will, so again, because this time this will satisfy, but this will not satisfy. Let's try to discuss. Let's try to run this query. Here you can see now too long for type character 5. So you can say character 5, right? So this is the size of a particular data type. Like so, how many letter can we insert in this particular column name? Okay, so it will not allow us to insert a record of a student having roll number greater than 5 characters or a name greater than 5 characters. So it will throw an error. So please remember this important point. Okay. But what is the difference between char and varchar? Okay. So both are same, right? Size is also same. Both are used for integer data type. But what is the difference between char and varchar? So I don't know. They will ask the question, but we can discuss in just 1 minute. So if you remember, we have inserted a record here, right? Now I will just copy this particular roll number. Okay. So what I get, ME21, 4 characters. Now I will copy this Ravi. Wait. Now, what is the difference between first and second? Both are having 5 character, but what is the difference? This is for varchar and this is for char. Can anyone tell me the difference? You can speak, yeah, yeah. Don't yeah, fix or variable. Okay. Fix or variable what? You are right. Fix or variable. What is fix and what is variable here? Yes, tell me. See, we are creating a database. We are inserting a record, right, in a database. So it will take some storage, right? Definitely, it will take some storage, right? So this varchar will optimize its storage based on the character we are inputting. So for example, even the maximum size is 5, but we are inserting only 4 letters. So it will allocate the storage according to the data we have inputted, only for 4 characters. But in the case of char, here you can see this double quotation have two space, have one empty space, right? If I copy this, so char will have fixed storage in a database, right? It will have fixed storage. So storage is fixed storage, and this will have a variable storage, okay, depending upon the value that you are inserting, variable storage. So please important this point, so please note down this point, fixed storage and variable storage in the case of char and varchar, okay. This is the only difference. And where we use this char, yes, anyone, any example, real life example of char, where we have a fixed storage or fixed size? Any example, anyone? Okay, so for example, your Aadhaar card, your PAN card, right? All of them having the same characters, right? Same number of characters, right? So in that case, we can use this char, okay? Because the storage will be fixed for this. Okay, so this is about the data types and the constraint we have, okay? So name, department, not null, we have discussed. Age, we have discussed. Integer, so it will take integer value and is a check constraint, right? Now, what is this numeric is remaining? So, what is numeric 5 comma 2? So, numeric 5 comma 2 means at max it will allow 5 digits only, and in that after decimal point there will be 2 digits. Okay. So, total there will be 5 digits. So, for example, if I give example of numeric 5 comma 2, numeric 5 comma 2. So, in that at max I can have, we have a decimal point, right? So after decimal point, like before decimal point, at most I can have 3 digits only. And after that, I can have 2 digits at max. So in total, I can have only 5 digits. Okay. So after decimal point, 2 digits, whatever the number is there, that is B. And before decimal point, that is basically A minus B. Okay. So if I just generalize this into A and B, okay. So before decimal point, it will be A minus B minus b. Okay, sorry, point b. So a minus b and number of digits we can have, and it will have point b. So if you observe here 988. So can I insert a record having 9888 because it is having the number of digits after decimal point 4, right? Now let's try to discuss this. Let's try to insert a record. Numeric field overflow, right? So a field with precision 5 and scale 2 must be around to absolute value less than 10 to the power 3. Yeah, because based on this 5 minus 2, that's 10 to the power 3, right? So it will not allow us to insert a record. I can insert less than that also, 8.1, that is also fine. But I cannot insert a data like a record having more than 5 digits, right, in total. But before decimal point, 3 digits at max, and after decimal point at max 2 digits. This is what 5 comma 2 is. So I think we have discussed in short what is constraint, what is data type, and how to insert a record in a table. All right. So only question can be asked, like they may give you some table relation and few insert command and see which of the following statements are successfully inserted or which will throw an error. So based on the constraint and the data type, you have to answer that question. Okay. Any doubt? Anyone? Okay. Great. Now let's try to insert few more records. So this is how we can insert record one by one. But if I want to insert a multiple record, so I can just simply copy this, right? So this is how we create a table and how to insert a record, right? So Hmm, okay, so I will go to another database. Let me just a second, because it will take time to have, right? So here you can see select star from student. So I already created a table student here. So if I want to view a data, so here you can see this is a student data. So this has roll number, name, age, credit, course, and department. Okay. So if you observe, if you have watched the lectures, I'm using the same table in the lectures also, right? So this is what student data table is, and we are going to perform a query on this particular table, right? Uh, what is no? I didn't get it. Can anyone tell me why no? Hello? Okay, no doubt. Okay. Okay. So this is about the data, right? Now, but our one constraint is remaining, that is basically a which one? Foreign key, right? So we have discussed about primary key. So this is a one of the way to have a primary key. Okay. Mention primary key, but another way is that this will be useful if you want to make any particular attribute as a primary key. But what if you want to use a combination of an attribute as a primary key? Okay. So for example, I am renaming the student as student one, and I don't have a roll number which will uniquely identify the student, right? So in that case, I have a student first name and last name. So this is first name having varchar data type, for example, 5 only. Then we have a last name, okay, last name. So in this case, what will happen? I want to do this F name and last name as a primary key. Means this combination will be a primary key, okay. So in the previous case, only roll number, only one attribute was a primary key. So in that case, that roll number is basically a simple key, okay. Now when we talk about the composite key, this is what composite key is, combination of more than one attribute. So this is how we specify primary key. Okay. So primary key you have to specify in the bracket whatever the column name you want to include. So I want to include first name, that is F name, and then last name. Okay. And if I run the query, let me create a query. So student one has been created. So select star from student one, right? So here you can say I've created a table. But if you observe here in the student table, roll number was the primary key, that is PK. But in this case, F name and last name is a primary key. Okay. So this is a way of how to make it's a composite attribute as a primary key. Okay. More than one attribute. But in this case, how this null and not, how this unique constraint will be applicable, right? Unique constraint, because primary key is having unique constraint, right? So both combination must be unique. Okay. Suppose my name is Piyush Wairale. So Piyush Wairale name must be unique. So there can be a student who's having multiple the same first name but different last name. So that is allowed. What is not allowed? The combination must be unique. Okay. So this unique will ensure this first name and last name should be a unique. Okay. If I am having a student having same last name but different first name, that is fine. Same in the case like first name and last name, but the combination must be unique. Okay. So please remember this point. Okay. So this is how we make a primary key. Now what about foreign key? So we have discussed that foreign key is basically is used to take a reference from any other table, right? So what is foreign key? How to link to any other table? So let me show you the student table, whatever we have created first. So this student table, right? So in that we have roll number as a primary key, right? And this name is having unique constraint. Now let's discuss how to make any particular column or attribute as a foreign key. So I'm creating one more table, create table, uh, for example, course, okay, course. In that I will have course name, that is C name, for example, okay. Then we have varchar, then we have varchar data type, for example, and say for example it is primary key of this particular table. Then we have a department, varchar 5, and here we have roll number again. Okay. So if I wanted to know which student have taken which course, so how to link two tables? So there must be some common attribute, right? if I want to know which courses this CS21 student has taken, because it is not present in this particular table. And even if I create a course table and that he is not present, so how I will get to know, okay, this student taken this much courses. So for that there must be some common attribute in a particular that in a table, right? For joining condition there must be some common attributes. So in this case we are keeping the roll number, and this roll number, that is varchar a data type, right? That is 5. Now this roll number will be act as a foreign key referencing to a primary key of student table. And how to make this roll number as a foreign key? So we have foreign foreign key, that is basically a roll number. So foreign key is my roll number, but referencing to what? Referencing to roll number of this particular table, that is student table, right? So foreign key roll number references. Okay, you have to write references student in that bracket roll number. So this will ensure that foreign key is a roll number which taking reference from a roll number which from student table, right? Now if I try to create a table, so what I will get, roll number. So you can see table has been successfully created. Okay. Now how to view this particular table? So select star from course, right? So in the student table we have roll number. In the student one table we have first name and last name as a key, right? So if I select star from course, so here you can see roll number is there. Now tell me what is speciality of this particular foreign key? Yes, anyone? How this foreign key works? So tell me, insert into course, right? And then values. Say course name is our DBMS, department name is CS, and roll number is, for example, uh, M111, like this. So can I insert this particular record in a course table? Yes, anyone tell me? Can I insert this record? Why not? Okay, great. So we have taken the reference from the student table. Unless and until this particular roll number is present in my student table, I cannot insert a record in the course table, right? So if I try to insert this record, see, I'll get an error because foreign key violates. So you can also observe, right? Unless student has enrolled in our course, how we can attend that course, right? How we can take a course if he is not a student, right? So at first he must be a student, right? So if you see a student table, so we have roll number ME21, CS21. Now if I change this M11 to ME21, now I can insert a record in a course table, right? So successfully inserted, right? So this is how foreign key constraint will work. So it will maintain the referential integrity between the two tables, right? Okay. So anyone, any doubt in the foreign key? Okay. Tables are different. I didn't get you. Yeah, the student and course, both the tables are different, right? We want to link both the tables by using some key, right? No, we are making the roll number of this course table foreign key, which is taking reference from a student table, right? No, student 1 and student 2 both are two different tables here. Okay. So student 1 and student 2 both, student 1 and student both are different table. Two different tables are there. For student table, we have roll number as a primary key. For student 1 table, first name and last name is a primary key, right? So we are trying to link this course table to a student table, not a student 1 table, okay? Okay. So in our database, we have three tables as of now: student, student 1, course, right? So if you observe, like okay, this is about the foreign key, right? This is how we maintain the referential integrity, how to link tables, right? But in the syllabus, we have seen some ER diagram also, right? Entity relationship diagram. So student is an entity, course is an entity. So how we establish relationship between them? So by using foreign key, okay, and depending upon the constraint. So this PG admin is very useful. So if I just right click on an ERDO for database, so it's loading, right? So just a second. So here you can see we have a student and a course table we have created. So this is primary key and this is foreign key. Okay, these notations are ER diagram notations. So we had used different notation, but yeah. So this is how we link two tables with each other. So after creation of like if we have some 5, 6 database, we'll get a complete ER diagram for this particular database, right? So this is how we create a ER diagram, okay? And based on that, you can ask a question, right? So this is about schema diagram, not exactly ER diagram, but schema diagram we can say, okay? So this is about data types and constraint and foreign key and how we can discuss, okay? Okay, so this is how we create a table, how to insert a record, and the foreign key, primary key, and data type constraint we have discussed. So please remember this point. Now, we have discussed about creation of a table. Now, once we have created a table, now we should able to fetch a data from a particular table, right? Now, if you want to view all the columns and all the data from a particular table, so select star from student. This is very necessary. Okay, this is a mandatory for any query. So there must be a select command, there must be from, and there must be some table name. Okay, then only we can view our data. So select star from a student, right? So this simple select query, right? For example, in Python we have print statement if you want to view any data. So in that case we have select statement, select star from student, right? So if I run this query, I will get this particular data. Here you can see below one, right? So I have 10 record as of now. So star means I will get all the columns. But what if I don't want all the 6 columns? I only want name and age. In that case, we have to specify name, comma, age. That's it, right? So you will get 2 columns only now, right? So it depends on number of columns. Okay. So now what about where clause? So where is a filtering clause? Okay. Where is a filtering clause? Where? Okay. So where is filtering clause? Okay. Filtering condition we can apply. So if you observe select star from student, I will get all the 10 records. If I just mention name, age, I am getting only 2 column, but having all the 10 records. But what if I want a data of a student whose age is greater than 20? Okay, I don't want all the 10 records, but I want details of a student whose age is greater than 20. So in that case, what I can do? I can simply mention, I have to filter the table, right? So for that, I can use where clause, where age greater than 20. So now I am not getting 10 rows. I will get 6 rows having age greater than 20. So this is how where clause will work. We are filtering a record from a particular table, right? And in the where clause, we can have multiple condition by using and or operator. So we have and or operator, right? And or operator. So what and operator will do? Let me select a table first. So what I want now, I want a detail of a student whose age greater than 20 and and uh, say for example
Who's
department is
credit more than 3, maybe 3.5.
okay, so credit more than 3.5, okay, 3.5. So how this query will work? Because in exam you are not going to run this query, you need to find out the output or number of rows. So how this query will work, how we are going to apply the filter condition on the table, right? Suppose we have given a table in the exam and how we are going to get the output. So this particular condition will work on each row, okay? So for example, age 20 is satisfying my condition? No. What about this? Yeah, for age, my this roll number 2 is getting satisfied. But what about credit? It is 3 point greater than 3.5? No, right? So it means this data will not get fetched. My where condition basically and condition, right? So I want both the conditions should be satisfied. So it's row by row, okay? So what about this third row? Greater than 20? Yes, 22. Greater than 3.5? Yes, 3.7. So this row will get fetched. Okay. It's not like that any one of the condition is true. And we are applying the condition row by row. Okay. Please remember this point. Because here we are just running the query, so we'll get an output. But in exam, we don't have to run the query. We have to see the output, right? So if you observe last year, 2023 CSE paper, simple question, select column name from a table name where two conditions are there. Simple. And they have asked how many rows will be there. Okay. So if I just apply this condition, if I just row, so I will get only 3 rows that is having satisfying both the conditions, right? So if you get such type of question, you should be able to answer. Okay. You can check this year paper, CS 2023. Similar question, only the column name and the attribute has been changed. Okay. So if they are asking such type of question for 2 marks in CS paper, for GATE TA also they can ask similar questions. Okay. Not difficult level questions. So those who have done this DPMS course or SQL in their college, so it will be useful for them. But yeah, please remember this point. This GATE TA exam is for everyone, so they will not going to ask difficult. Simple such type of questions only you can expect. Now this is about select and operator, right? Inside the where clause, we're applying multiple condition. But instead of and, I can use or also, right? So now in this case, what will be the output? So in this case, what will happen? For each row, it will check. Okay, for this row number second, my age is greater than 20. Okay, fine, because we have or operator. Any one of the condition must be true. Then only it is true, right? Now in this case, how many row I will get? In this case, I'm getting 7 rows, right? This is a thing. So anyone, any doubt in select star from where clause? This is simple
Yes,
query.
sir, in or
Uh,
short circuit is also done.
Sorry, in or I didn't get your question.
I mean, short circuiting also done. Na? I mean, if age is greater than 20, then we need not to check the or condition like credit greater than 3.5 or
No, no,
something.
not like that. If age greater than 20 or credit greater than 3.5, if any one of the condition is true, then it will fetch. Okay, or both of the condition is true, it will fetch. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, you can also see if age is greater than 20 means it will fetch your data. So you can say that, not an issue. Yeah. But don't think like that. It will be difficult when you are going to write a query. Okay. So don't think in that way. But okay, for simple query to solve the questions, you can think in that direction. Okay. So this is about and or operator, how we apply inside the where clause. Okay. Now, what about in and not in? Not in. Now, I want a detail of a student who belongs to CSE, Maths, and any department. Okay. CSE, Maths, and any department. So, what I want to write a query. Tell me anyone. Select star from student. So, what should I write after this? I want a detail of a student who belongs to CSE, Maths, and EME from these three departments. Tell me.
Actually,
Either from
this can be
uh,
easily done with the help of aliasing, I mean, rename operator.
rename operator. Okay.
I mean, this can easily be done with the help of rename operator. Like, if I have a list of 5 element and I want to check that 5 is present in that or in it, so I will gonna check 5 in and this list it will gonna return true boolean value true or either false.
Okay, but how we are going to write a query here? I want a detail of a student whose department is CSE or Maths or EME. Okay. So whatever we have discussed, you can also apply that. Okay. So one thing is that where department name equals to CSE, I will get a detail of CSE student, or department name again equals to I can apply multiple on or condition, right? Or ME, or I can get department equals to, for example, math, right? Now, if you observe, I will get a detail of a student who's either belonging to these three departments, right? CSE maths, CSE maths only. Okay. So this is about the thing. Anyone? Okay. Okay. So what if I just mention and here? So it will work if I mention and here. Does it will work? This query will work if I mention and here. No, because this query, this condition is applied on each and every column. So for this column, CSE department is CSE, true. But department is also ME? No, not true, because we are applying a condition on each column, right? So this and will not work. Okay. So same thing we can do by using in clause also, right? So same if I want to get a data by using in clause. So select from student where department in. So what in will do? We have to specify whether this particular department is present in this list or not, right? In this in statement or not. So here we can write CSE, then comma math, right? MATH math, and then for example ME, right? So if I run this query, I will get the same output of the previous one. Okay, here is 7 rows and here also 7 rows, right? So what I can say here, both are equivalent. Department in CSE Math ME, and here department CSE equals to or department equals to ME, or department equals to Math, right? So I can write this particular query. So in operator is used. So what in operator will do, it will check whether this for this particular attribute, this is satisfy this condition or not. So department equals to CE or not, department equals to Maths or not, department equals to ME or not, it will check. Okay. So this is what in statement will do. Okay. So now what about not in? What not in will give me? Yes, anyone tell me? Name itself suggests what is not in. So in will give me if department belong to this any of the three department. What not in will give me? Yeah. So it will give
Remaining
me the
tuples.
yeah.
Remaining tuples.
So it will give me the detail of a student who do not belong to these three department. Okay. Who do not belong to these three department. Okay. Yes. So here you can see economics, right? So this is how in and not in will work. But not necessary that we have to mention the list only here, like names only we have to specify. We can also write a select command here, or like subquery part. So this is what subquery is. So inside the backend, I can write a query, right? So here I am applying a condition on department. So my select query must return a department only, right? So select department from, again same student, and then student where roll number. So if you observe, roll number equals to 2. So roll number equals to 2 means department name is EE, right? So I am excluding the department EE from the output. So first it will run this particular query, okay? So select department from student where roll number equals to 2. So I know when my roll number equals to 2, department name is EE. It means that the output of this SQL query is EE, and then I am running this condition select star from student where department not in EE, right? So I will get a list of students who do not belong to EE department. So here you can see EE department is not present, right? So we can write a query also, right?
So you have done nesting query, no?
Yes, subquery you can say, yeah, nesting. So it's about in and not in. So not necessarily we have to mention the directly values, but simple query will also be there. And if you observe previous year CSA gate questions, such type of questions are there. Okay. So they are only changing the SQL commands here. Okay. But inside this also they are going to checking. So we'll discuss one by one. So any doubt in and not in part? I am taking this session based on the last 4 to 5 years previous CSE question. Okay, so whatever the topic they have covered in CSE branch, I am going to take those topics only from last 5 years. Okay, so after the session, you can try to solve previous CSE question based on SQL. Okay, now let's discuss about any and all. Any and all, as name suggests. Okay, so what is any and all? So for example, age greater than any 20, 22, 23, and age greater than all 20, 22, 23. So what is the meaning of this two, any and all? Just anyone tell me.
So basically, any compare the value with each value in
Hmm.
set and return if any value in a is compared according to the given condition.
Okay, so for example, if age is greater than any one of these three value, then it will return the query, right? If age is greater than 20, so it will return a query. And what about all? If age is greater than all of this particular three, so in that case I can say if age is greater than 23, then only it will return the output, right? So all will ensure that for all the cases mentioned in this particular output, it should satisfy, it should be greater than this particular output. But any means if any one of the condition is satisfied for any of the cases, then it will return output, right? So we can use simple select query also for this, so it will be better. But let's try to discuss simple concept of any and all first. So suppose select star from student where uh, where age is age greater than any. Select. Now we are comparing with age, so my select query must return an age. Okay, select age from a student where department equals to CSE. So can anyone tell me how many row it will return? So let me yeah, this is the student table and this is our query. So how many rows it will be written? Okay. So similar question has been asked in the previous gate 2021. Okay, CSC branch. But only difference is that there is one more condition and also. We will discuss that, but before we can discuss simple one. So what will be the output of this or how many row it will return?
Three rows.
3 rows. So what this it will give? This select age.
Uh,
So it will
Roll
give
number
the
one,
yeah,
five,
no,
six.
not roll number. We are getting age, right? We are retrieving age from a student table, right?
Okay. 20, 19,
Uh,
21.
so CSC branch should satisfy. So 20, 19, and 21. So in this output, there will be 20, 19, and 21. And my age should satisfy this any one of this particular condition. So any means if it is greater than 19, it means it's greater than 20, 21 also, right? So it should give me the number of detail of a student whose age is greater than any one of this 19, 20, or 20, 20, right? Sorry, 21. So in this case, I will get 9 rows because for only one case, it is not satisfied. It is basically age greater than 19. Okay. So please remember this such type of question you can expect because previously there are question based on this only. Okay. So this is about any. But if I change any to all, now tell me what will be the output. Let me show you the entire table again. So first try to find out the output of inner query because we need to match with this. Okay.
Greater than 21.
Greater than 21, right?
21.
Because 20, 19, and 21 is there. So anyone, sorry, all of them must be like greater than 21. So in that case, I will get 21, 21, 1, 23, and 24. Only two rows I should get, right? So let's see let's run a query. 21, oh sorry, 21, right? So 22, 23, 22, 24 also there, right? So get 21. So four rows I will get. Okay. So this is what in, not in, any and all is. Anyone, any doubt in this four thing? In and not in, any and any all?
No, sir.
Okay. So in gate, if you observe, there are multiple conditions inside the where clause. So accordingly, you have to filter the result. Okay. Okay. And suppose there is one question. Suppose department equals to data science. Okay. Now, do we have department data science in our table? Anyone? And what should be the output in this case? Tell me.
Null.
Null. What should be the output of entire query? So if I run this select age from student because department data science is not present. So inside this particular thing, there is no output, null output, empty set. Then what will be the output of this?
All table. Yes.
All rows. Yeah, all rows I will get. Because it is greater than all of this because the empty field is there, right? So this is about in and not in. Okay. Now let's discuss about aggregate function. Aggregate functions. Different types of aggregate functions in SQL. So firstly is count, then we have max, mean, sum, and average. Okay. So these are the five aggregate functions. Now what this count will indicate? Count is basically as name suggests, it will count the number of rows. Count number of rows, right? What about max? Maximum value. Maximum value of a column from a column you can say. Then say minimum value of a column. Minimum value of a column. Of a column. Then sum is sum of all the data of a column. And this average is basically average of all the data. Average of all the data for column. Okay. All data of a column. Now simply if we see this particular student relation, right? So select, I want maximum age of this from this table. So I can simply use max in bracket, whatever the column name is there, right? So column name is age and then from student, right? So here I will get maximum age is basically 24. Similarly, if I want minimum age, so I can apply a mean function here, mean. So I'll get a minimum age from a particular column, right? Now, if you want average of all the ages, so simply you can use average. Okay, this average. So count is basically you can use simply how many rows are there. For count, it will always give us 10, right? Age. This is basically will give us the number of rows, that is 10. Okay, but when what is this count star? Count star will also give us number of rows for a particular like from a table. So count star will give us number of rows present in the table, that is 10. Okay. So count star will give us number of rows in a particular table. Please remember this point. But what is the difference? What is the one very important thing to discuss in aggregate functions? And that deals with the null values. So I think in syllabus they are specified null. So they may ask you question based on the aggregate functions. Okay. Because important point, all aggregate function, all aggregate function will ignore the null value, will ignore null values except count star. Okay. So what is null value? So select star from student. Let me run this query. So we have seen, okay, if age is like this, then okay, definitely it will give us a output. But suppose inside this age, I have some null value. Okay. So I think we have restrict some age. So yeah. But if I run a query on null value, so this will ignore the null values, right? For example, this particular value is null. Okay, for example, let us consider this value is null, 10th row. So in that case, count age will give us only 9 rows, because only for a 9 rows we have a data for age. But count star will give us 10 rows, 10 as an output, because for it will take number of rows, not any specific column, right? So count age will give us 9 rows if we have one a null value in the age, but count star will give us the 10 as an output because it will count number of rows. Similarly, average. Okay, so it deals with average. If we calculate average, so it was summation of all the 10 rows plus divide by 10. But if there is null value, then in that case there will be summation of all the 9 rows divided by 9, not 10. Okay, so it will ignore that particular row completely. So please remember this important point. Okay, so this is about aggregate functions. But we use this aggregate function always with group by clause to have a meaningful data. Group by clause. So what is group by clause? Uh, Suppose I have this particular data, right? Now I want the information of a student who belongs to, like, number of students from each department, right? Number of students in each department. So like for example, in CSE I have 3 students, for in maths I have 2 students, right? So what should be the query for that? Yes, anyone can tell me by using group by clause. Group by department. Okay. So select, I want to count number of students, so I can use star. Then I have to specify department because I want number of students in each department from a student, right? And then group by department. Okay. So if I run this query, I will get number of students studying in each department. And please remember, very important point, whatever the attribute which you are going to use inside the select clause along with the aggregate function, so those attribute must appear in the group by clause. Okay. What I am saying, whatever the attribute which you are going to use inside the select clause, okay, inside the select clause, along with the count function, along with any aggregate function, so that attribute or those attribute must be present in the group by clause. Okay. For example, I am just writing name here and grouping by department name. So in that case, it will throw an error. Okay. So whatever the attribute is there, so here you can see student name must appear in the group by clause or to be used in aggregate function. Okay. So either I should use aggregate function inside the select clause or attribute name if I am using. So that attribute must appear in the group by clause. Otherwise, it will throw an error. Okay. So this is about group by clause. So we have a department. So please remember this point. Okay. So we are getting this much of records. Now, what about having clause? So what is the difference between having and where clause? Okay. So where and having. So having will always work after group by clause. So after group by clause, after group by clause. Having will always work after group by clause. But what about where? Where is just a filtering condition, right? Filtering condition. Filtering condition. And also I cannot use aggregate function. Cannot use aggregate function inside the where clause. Suppose I want to find out the detail of a student whose average whose age is greater than the average age of a one particular department. So I have to use average function. So that I cannot use in the where clause. I cannot use where average age like this. So I cannot use this particular function. But inside the having clause, I can use that aggregate function and apply the condition like average age greater than 18 or 19 like that, right? So for example, here only select count star from department, right? So whatever. Okay, I have selected, but let's try to discuss this. So this will be my output, but I don't want this output. I want number of students in each department having total number of students greater than 2. Like count should be greater than 2. So in that case, what I have to use? So count star count star greater than 2. Okay. So if I run this query, I will get only one row. Okay. That is 3. So this is how it will work. I cannot apply where clause here and I cannot use count star greater than 2. Okay. Because group by will having will work only after a group by clause. So it will throw an error if I try to use this. What happened? Okay. If I try to apply where clause, so it will throw an error, right? So aggregate functions are not allowed in where clause. So remember this point, they can give simple select query and it may throw an error. So please read the, please note this point, okay? And one more important thing is that order of execution of this SQL clauses. So how this SQL is clause is executing, right? Order of execution. Does anyone tell me what is order of execution? Anyone? What is order of execution of SQL clauses? Anyone? I have this select from where group by having. So in which order they are executing? Very important question. So first from clause will execute, right? After that where, and after that from where, then group by, then having, and after that select clause will execute. Okay. So this is how order of execution of SQL command. So first we'll go from for a table, then I will apply the condition on a particular table, then I will group by, then having condition, and then I will select a row. So this is what order of execution of a SQL clauses is. Okay. So please note this point. Any doubt in group by or having clause? Anyone? Okay. So we'll discuss about the joins. Joins. Okay. So what are different types of joins in SQL? Yes, anyone? Tell me. Natural, left, right, full. Yeah. So first, important we have cross join. Okay. So cross join, most of the question based on cross join. Okay. Or we can also call it as Cartesian product. Then something we have inner join or simply join. Both are the same thing. Then we have outer join. In outer join, we have three types of join. Outer join, we have three types of join. So first one is left outer join, left join. Then we have right outer join, right join. We have full outer join, and then we have natural join. Okay. Now what is a cross join? But for that, I want two tables, right? So I have different database. So I can use any of the database. So for that, I have this database FLIS. So I will use this because otherwise we need to create a table, right? So if you see a schema, so it is not required. I'm just looking for a reference purpose, like how many tables are there. So we have a table, for example, manager, like select star from managers, right? So if I run this query, so we have manager ID, name, date of birth, team ID, and since like when date of joining. So it's about managers table. I have one more table that is players table, right? Select star from players, right? Players. So you can see 71 rows are there and different players are there, right? And team ID are there, player ID. In the managers table, we also have team ID. So team for a different team ID, we have a manager ID. Okay, right? So we have this two tables. Now I want to join these two table by using Cartesian product. Okay, so what is Cartesian product? So simply it will give me the combination of each and every row of one table with each and every row of other table. Okay. So in this case, I have for managers table, I have 6 rows, right? 6 rows. And in players table, I have 71 rows, right? 71 rows. So please remember this point because previous year question was there. If I perform cross join between these two table, let us select star from managers, and how we can perform by simply putting a comma. Table 1, comma, table 2, players. That's it. This is what cross join is. Okay. Cartesian product is. So if I just run this query, so I will get a combination of each and every row with each and every row. So in total, I have 426. That is basically 71 into 6 rows. Okay. Yes, that is 426 rows. And how many columns will be there? So row will get multiply. So R1 into R2, but column will get added C1 plus C2. Okay. So this will be the number of columns. So please remember this point. But if I just perform this type of operation like Cartesian product, I will not get any meaningful data, right? I'm getting a simply combination of each and every row with every other row. So in order to join these two tables, there must be some common attribute. And if you observe players table, we have this team ID, and in managers table, we have this team ID also, right? So I can join these two tables based on team ID. So how I can join? Simply I can put condition where, so I can rename this, I can put alias for managers as M and for player as P. Okay. So where M, now from managers table, team ID, right? Team underscore ID equals to team ID from players table, team underscore ID. Now, in this case, the number of rows will be matching, right? So I will get 71 rows because all the players are present from each of the managers, right? For each team. So I will get 71 rows. So previously it was 426 rows. Now in this case, 71 rows because we are mapping with the team ID. So here you can see team ID T001, and here also you can see same team ID, right? So based on that, we are mapping our data. Okay. So this is how cross join will work. So you see, you can have to simply mention the table 1, comma table 2, and then condition, joining condition. That's it. Because both should be equal, right? Because column name must be equals. So other way is that I can simply mention cross join instead of comma, just mention cross join. Okay. So this is what cross join is. And then once you got this query, you can apply any where clause. I can put any condition. I can use in, not in, aggregate functions inside the query. The only difference is that we have two table data now. In the previously, there was only one table. Okay. So rest of the things will be same. But this is how we can perform the join operation. Okay. And equal to means I will match the record from one table with other table based on this particular condition. Okay. So this is what where clause is. So this is about cross join. Any doubt, anyone in cross join? Okay. Now let's talk about natural join. So what is natural join? So tables will get joined. Tables will get joined based on the common attribute automatically. Common attributes automatically. Okay. I don't need to specify the condition, joining condition. So natural join will automatically take the common attribute. Okay. So in this case, the common attributes are name and team ID, right? So please remember name is also same in the players and managers table, right? So natural join will work, will join the table based on name and team ID, right? So it will try to match with the name also because name is also common here. So if I just perform natural join, so I'm just showing you syntax, select star from table 1, for example, managers, natural join players, right? So that's it. This is the syntax for joining two tables. Okay. But here I will get an empty record because it will join based on the name also. So that I don't want. So if there is only one column, so then I can join this two table. Okay. So this is about natural join. So this is very important. it will join based on the common attributes automatically. Okay. So what about inner join or simply join? So most of the questions in GATE exam are based on this cross join and inner join. So in cross join, they are mentioned table 1, comma table 2, and then where clause is there, and inner join is also there, right? So I can join same table by using inner join also. I will get the same output, right? Inner join. So what I have to do, simply instead of cross, it will be join, or simply inner join also I can mention. So it will be join, right? So players as P. So here I don't need to specify the condition inside the where clause. So here I have to use on clause. Remember this point. If we are using inner join, so we have to specify on clause, on which condition we are joining. Okay. Inside, where in the case of cross join, we have to specify where clause. But in the case of inner join, we have to specify on clause. Okay. So if I just run this query, what I will get? Yeah, same result, 71 rows I will get, right? Based on the join, right? This about the inner join, or there is one more way. Even if you don't want to specify on, you can simply use using. So using inside the bracket the common attribute, that is basically a team ID. So one question was there previous paper using clause. So that's why I'm taking this. So I will get the same output, right? So instead of uh, writing this as a query on m.teamid equals to p.teamid, simply we can use using, because based on this particular common attribute, it will join the table. But output will be the same. Okay. So this is about inner join. Any doubt in inner join? Okay. Then we have outer join. Important last one, outer join. How outer join will work? Simply, instead of join, I have to specify outer join, right? So specify outer join. I have recorded one tutorial. In that I have taken different example. That example will be better. You can watch the joins recording for that, because in this case it will be difficult to explain this. So what outer join will do, simply we have a left outer join. I can explain that left outer join. So left outer join, right? The syntax will be same. Left outer join syntax will be same, but here we have to specify the joining condition, that is where m dot team underscore id equals to p dot team underscore id, right? So if I run this query, I will get a left outer join, but difficult to visualize. Okay, sorry, where we have to specify on. Yeah, because it is outer join, right? Inner or outer join, we have to specify on. So here you can see we have join. So left outer join, what it will do? It will first fetch the attribute which is matching this particular condition, then remaining attribute from the left table. Okay. In the case of right outer chain, what will happen? Same thing. First, it will give us the data which is satisfying this particular condition, and after that, remaining rows which is not satisfying this condition from the right table. That is what right outer join is. And what is full outer join? First, full outer join will give us all the record which is satisfying this particular condition, then remaining record from right table and left table. Okay. So this is what full outer join is. Uh, So I have recorded one tutorial for that. So you can watch that tutorial, because that will be a better to visualize. So here I don't have that particular tables. So that's why it will be difficult, but you can watch that session. Okay. So SQL joins. So I have recorded already. So you can watch that. Okay. Okay. So I think we have discussed joins also. Any doubt whatever we have discussed today? Anyone? So please try to watch the recording. I have already recorded a tutorial. Okay. Oh, okay. Only 3 students are there. Okay, yeah, so that's it from my side. You can watch the recording. I will also upload. No, full outer join is not equal to Cartesian product. Full auto join is basically first it will give us a common attribute, like based on the common condition, it will join the table. Then remaining column which is not satisfying my that particular condition from the left table and right table, both the tables. So that's why I will recommend to watch SQL. There is SQL join tutorial for that. Okay, in that I have shown directly because it deals with the null values. Okay, so please watch that tutorial. Yes, recording will be available after the session. I don't know how it will happen, but yeah, on the portal recording will be available. But it is live on YouTube, so on YouTube anyway it is available only, right? So that's it. Okay, great. So that's it from my side. Thank you everyone for joining the session. Okay, chalo, bye bye.